You know the feeling. You are staring at your phone screen, waiting for a response. The three little dots appear, then disappear. Your heart rate increases. You start to wonder what you did wrong, what you could have said differently, or if you were simply overreacting. This cycle of waiting, analyzing, and doubting is exhausting. It drains your energy and leaves you feeling constantly on edge. If you have found yourself in this position, I want you to take a deep breath and hear this clearly. You are not crazy. You are not overthinking. You are not the problem. The confusion you feel is not a reflection of your inability to communicate. It is a direct result of being in a dynamic where communication was never meant to be clear, reciprocal, or safe. You entered this relationship with an open heart, expecting basic respect and honesty. You believed that if you just explained yourself better, or if you were just a little more patient, things would make sense. But the rules kept changing. When you asked a simple question, you were met with silence or anger. When you expressed a need, you were made to feel like a burden. This was not a normal relationship struggle. This was a calculated imbalance. The person you were dealing with was using communication not to connect with you, but to control you. Texting, which should be a simple tool for staying in touch, became a weapon of emotional manipulation. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the underlying psychology. For someone with narcissistic traits, other people are not viewed as independent individuals with their own feelings and needs. Instead, they are viewed as sources of supply. Supply is the attention, validation, and emotional reaction they need to regulate their own fragile sense of self. Texting is the perfect medium for this because it allows them to control the timing, the tone, and the intensity of the interaction without having to face the immediate reality of your emotional response. They use digital communication to keep you tethered to them, but only on their terms. This creates a psychological dynamic known as intermittent reinforcement. By giving you just enough attention to keep you hopeful, followed by long periods of withdrawal, they train your brain to crave their validation. It is the same psychological mechanism that keeps people hooked on gambling. You keep playing, hoping for a win, even though the system is designed for you to lose. The first texting habit that exposes this dynamic is the sudden disappearance followed by a calculated return. You will be in the middle of a normal conversation, or perhaps you just shared something vulnerable, and suddenly, they vanish. Hours turn into days. You check your phone constantly, wondering if they are okay, or worse, wondering what you did to drive them away. You might send a gentle follow-up, which is met with absolute silence. Then, out of nowhere, a message pops up. It is completely casual. It might be a meme, a random observation, or a simple greeting. There is no apology for the disappearance. There is no acknowledgement of your worry. They act as if no time has passed at all. This behavior happens because it is a power play. By disappearing, they assert total control over the rhythm of the relationship. They are testing your boundaries to see how much inconsistency you will tolerate. When they return as if nothing happened, they are forcing you to make a choice. If you call them out on their absence, they will accuse you of being needy, dramatic, or controlling. If you accept the casual message, you silently agree that their behavior is acceptable. The impact this has on you is profound. It trains you to walk on eggshells. You begin to suppress your own needs and feelings just to keep the peace. You start to believe that your anxiety is your own fault, rather than a natural response to being treated with disregard. Over time, this erodes your self-trust. You stop believing that your feelings are valid, and you start prioritizing their comfort over your own peace of mind. The second habit is what is often called breadcrumbing, or sending vague, low-effort messages designed to keep you on the hook. These are texts that seem meaningful on the surface, but require absolutely no commitment or follow-through. They might send a message saying they were just thinking about you, or that you really need to catch up soon, or that you mean a lot to them. But when you respond with enthusiasm and suggest a specific time to talk or meet, they suddenly become busy. The conversation fizzles out, or they change the subject entirely. The psychology behind this is simple. They want to maintain access to your emotional energy without having to invest any of their own. A vague, positive text costs them nothing, but it yields a high return. It triggers a rush of dopamine in your brain. For a moment, you feel seen and valued. That brief moment of relief is all they need to give you, because it resets the clock on your frustration. It reminds you of the good times and makes you willing to endure the bad times for a little while longer. The effect this has on you is a state of chronic emotional limbo. You spend hours analyzing 3-word messages, searching for hidden meanings. Your nervous system stays on high alert, constantly scanning for signs of approval or rejection. You are kept in a state of suspended animation, unable to fully move on, but never truly secure. The third habit is the use of word salads and circular deflection. When you finally manage to bring up a legitimate concern or ask for clarity about something that hurt you, the response you get is a wall of confusing text. It is a long, rambling paragraph that twists your words, brings up unrelated past grievances, and completely avoids the actual issue you raised. They might accuse you of misremembering events, or they might play the victim, claiming that your simple question is actually a vicious attack on their character. This is a classic manipulation tactic designed to overwhelm and disorient you. In psychology, this is closely related to a concept where the manipulator denies the abuse, attacks the victim, and reverses the roles of victim and offender. The goal of the word salad is not to resolve a conflict. The goal is to exhaust you. They know that if they make the conversation complicated enough, you will eventually give up. They want you to feel so mentally drained that you apologize just to end the argument. The impact on you is a deep sense of cognitive dissonance. You start to doubt your own memory and your own perception of reality. You find yourself apologizing for things you did not do simply because you are desperate for the tension to end. This constant mental gymnastics leads to severe emotional exhaustion and a feeling that you are slowly losing your grip on what is real. The fourth pattern is the urgent demand followed by cold silence. This happens when they suddenly blow up your phone with a sense of manufactured crisis. The texts might be frantic, angry, or deeply emotional. They might claim that everything is falling apart, or they might demand your immediate attention for something that is objectively minor. Your natural human instinct is to respond quickly, to help, to soothe, or to defend yourself. You drop whatever you are doing to reply. But the moment you respond, the dynamic shifts instantly. They stop replying. You are left staring at your screen, having given them exactly the reaction they wanted, only to be met with a cold, impenetrable wall. This happens because the crisis was never real. The urgency was manufactured solely to hijack your nervous system and force you to prioritize them. Once they have your attention, the game is won. The subsequent silence is a punishment. It is a way of asserting dominance and reminding you that you are entirely at their mercy. The impact of this cycle is devastating. it makes you feel foolish and desperate. You realize that your empathy was weaponized against you. You begin to associate your own natural instinct to care for others with pain and rejection. Over time, you become hesitant to respond to anyone, fearing that your kindness will once again be used as a trap. The fifth and final habit is the unprovoked accusation or projection. Out of the blue, you will receive a text accusing you of something you have not done. They might accuse you of cheating, lying, being toxic, or talking about them behind their back. There is no evidence, no logical trigger, and no room for rational discussion. If you try to defend yourself with facts, they will dismiss your facts and double down on their accusation. This is a textbook example of psychological projection. People who engage in manipulative behavior often cannot tolerate their own flaws or negative actions. To protect their fragile ego, they subconsciously project those traits onto you. By accusing you of being the toxic one, they temporarily relieve themselves of their own guilt. Furthermore, it serves as a brilliant distraction. Instead of you holding them accountable for their behavior, you are now forced to spend all your energy defending your own character. The impact this has on you is a profound sense of injustice and helplessness. You feel like you are constantly on trial, forced to prove your innocence for crimes you did not commit. It is incredibly draining to constantly defend your integrity to someone who has already decided to view you through a distorted lens. Recognizing these 5 patterns is the most crucial step in your healing journey. When you can name the behavior, you strip it of its power. You are no longer just a confused participant in a chaotic dynamic. You are an observer who can see the mechanism at work. You begin to realize that their texts are not a reflection of your worth, your lovability, or your communication skills. Their messages are simply tools they use to regulate their own internal state. When you understand this, a profound shift occurs. You stop taking their behavior personally. You stop trying to decode the hidden meaning behind a vague message, because you realize there is no deep meaning. There is only a strategy. This awareness allows you to step back emotionally. You can look at your phone and feel a sense of calm detachment rather than a spike of anxiety. You begin to see the pattern clearly: the disappearance, the breadcrumb, the word salad, the urgent demand, the projection. They are all variations of the same theme. They are all designed to keep you off balance so that you remain focused on them. But you do not have to remain focused on them. You have the power to redirect your focus back to yourself. Empowerment in this situation does not look like a dramatic confrontation. It does not mean sending a long, angry text explaining exactly how they hurt you. That only provides them with more supply and pulls you back into the cycle. True empowerment looks like calm detachment. It looks like establishing firm, quiet boundaries. It means recognizing that you do not owe them an immediate response. You do not owe them an explanation for your time, your energy, or your silence. You can practice the power of the pause. When a confusing or manipulative text arrives, you do not have to react in the moment. You can put the phone down. You can take a deep breath. You can remind yourself that you are safe and that you do not have to participate in their chaos. Self-respect means protecting your peace, even if it means letting a message sit unread for hours or days or forever. You are allowed to disengage. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to prioritize your own mental health over their demand for your attention. As you practice this detachment, you will notice that their attempts to control you become less effective. When you no longer react with anxiety or desperation, their tactics lose their fuel. You are no longer playing the game. You are stepping off the board entirely. This is not about punishing them. This is about protecting yourself. It is about reclaiming the energy that you have been pouring into a black hole and redirecting it toward your own healing. Healing begins the moment you decide that your peace is more important than their approval. It is a gradual process of rewiring your nervous system. For a long time, your body has been conditioned to expect danger and unpredictability from your phone. It will take time for your body to learn that it is safe to relax. Be patient with yourself during this process. Celebrate the small victories. The day you do not check your phone first thing in the morning. The day you read a confusing text and feel nothing but indifference. The day you choose to spend your time on a hobby, a friend, or yourself, rather than waiting for a notification. You are stronger than you know. The fact that you are seeking to understand this dynamic shows a deep level of self-awareness and courage. You survived a situation designed to make you doubt your own reality. And yet, you are still here, seeking clarity. That is a testament to your resilience. You are not broken. You are simply recovering from an environment that was not built for your well-being. Moving forward means embracing the quiet. It means finding comfort in consistency, in relationships where communication is clear, kind, and reciprocal. It means trusting yourself again. You know what you felt, and you know what you experienced. You do not need their validation to know that your truth is real. You are free to close this chapter. You are free to put the phone down, take a deep breath, and step into a future where your energy is respected, your boundaries are honored, and your peace is non-negotiable. You have done the hard work of seeing the truth. Now you get to do the beautiful work of living it. You are safe, you are whole, and you are ready to move forward.